Is the PPT visible? Can someone confirm?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what did we discuss in the previous class? We were discussing about web security, right? Web security. We discussed about one of the most important protocols meant for web security. What was that protocol? What was that protocol? It's projected on the slide still. Why can't somebody respond? About SSL protocol, right? SSL TLS family. SSL is the predecessor for TLS. Then we discussed about the SSL protocol stack. So in SSL protocol stack, what were the protocols which was there? It was not a single layer protocol. It was a two-layered protocol. What were the various protocols as a part of the stack? We had the SSL record protocol, then handshaking protocol, change cipher specification protocol, and alert protocol, right? Then we started discussing about each protocol one by one. We discussed about record protocol, the working of, or the operation of a record protocol, where the application data is being fragmented, compressed optionally, adding authentication code, encrypting, and prepending by a SSL record header. Okay, so that was what record protocol is all about. Okay, then we discussed about change cipher specification protocol, which was basically for copying the pending states to the current state. It was basically a 1 byte. I mean, it consists of a single message with a single byte having value 1. Then we also discussed about alert protocol, giving different types of alerts. Okay, you have 2 bytes here. So wherein you can either give a warning or it could be a fatal message. That is what alert protocol is all about. Okay, then we discussed about handshaking protocol. Handshaking protocol. Okay, I mean, the format of handshaking and other things, the different types of messages which are being exchanged. And then we also discussed the 4 phases. The 4 phases of handshake protocol was discussed in elaborate. Okay. So then after that, I showed you a simple example. Okay. So before coming to this, to summarize whatever we have discussed so far in the different phases. Okay. So your SSL or your TLS, it works basically by binding the identities of entities like your websites or your companies to what is called a cryptographic key pair. Cryptographic key pair, when I say pair of keys, both the public key and the private key, using some digital document. Or it could be some certificates like X.509 and other things. So when I say key pair, it will be having a private key and a public key. Okay, so the private key will be kept secure and the public key will be widely distributed. Okay, so yeah. And regarding the certificate, certificate means that SSL certificate or your TLS certificate, it will be signed by some trusted certificate authority, like your SSL.com or whatever. Okay, so naturally that certificate will be trusted by the client software, like your web browser or your operating system or whatever. Okay, so all your publicly trusted certificate authorities, they have been approved by almost all the major software suppliers, okay, to validate the identities. So that will be trusted on their platform. Okay, so it is being, just a second. So all these certificate authorities, whenever they issue a certificate or whenever they validate a certificate, okay, it is not once and for all, because all these certificate authorities, they are subjected to regular audits in order to maintain that trusted status. Okay, so using this handshaking, that is using this SSL or TLS handshaking, the private and the public keys will be used as in order to negotiate encrypted and authenticated communication between the parties over the internet. Okay, even if both the parties have not met. Okay, so they are able to communicate in a secure manner. Okay, so whatever I have told just now, so that is actually the foundation of secure web browsing and electronic commerce, as it happens today. Okay, so that's regarding your a summary to whatever we have learned so far, the various protocols, the various phases, and other things. Okay, so then coming to this also we had discussed in the last class, the simplified SSL protocol or the TLS protocol with an example for Alice and Bob communication. So let's just take it again, because the next topic is also a continuation of this regarding the computation of keys. Okay, so you can see here various messages. Message 1. So Alice is the client and Bob is considered to be the server wanting to communicate. Okay, so in the first message, you can see here in the first message, what happens is Alice says that she want to talk, okay, with Bob, but then she doesn't identify herself. Okay, so she will give a list of all the cryptographic algorithms that she supports along with a random, you can say number, R Alice. Okay, so that will be later combined with all these, your S in the message, to form the various session keys. Okay, so that's what first happens. This is the client and this is the server. Client and server. Then in the second message, what happens is the Bob will send Alice his certificate, a random number, R Bob, that will also contribute to the keys. And I mean, Bob will respond to one of the ciphers, whatever Alice has listed in the first message, which Bob also supports, so that both of them can have in common. Okay, then in the third message, message 3, Alice will choose a random number S. Okay, so this number is actually what is called a pre-master secret. Pre-master secret. Okay, and sends it. Okay, so that will be encrypted with the Bob's public key. Okay, so she will also send a hash of the master secret, K, and a handshake message. So that is just to prove that, there is, in case there is a tampering of the handshake messages, definitely it will be detected. Okay, so it will be tamper proof. Okay, so that's what. Then in the fourth message, okay, Bob proves that he already knows the session key, and ensures that the messages have arrived intact, actually by sending the hash of all the handshake messages, encrypted with the encryption key, the right encryption key. Okay, so since all the session keys are derived from this S, okay, so this proves that he knows Bob's private key, because it is needed in order to extract your message S. Okay, so at this point, what has happened is Alice has authenticated to Bob. Okay, but then Bob has no, Alice has authenticated Bob. Okay, that is, client has authenticated the server. Okay, but then Bob, the server, has no idea to whom he is talking. Okay, that is, client is authenticating the server, but the server doesn't authenticate the client. Okay, so in case the application, what is running on the server, that is on Bob, wants to authenticate the user, so then the Alice will have to send her name and password to the Bob server, cryptographically protected with some session key. Okay, so that's what. Okay, and again, there are provisions for session resumption with certain parameters being provided. Okay, so that's what we have discussed in the last class. Okay, so next, coming to a brief about some of the cryptographic computations. Just a second. Okay, fine. Okay, cryptographic computation. So first is about the master secret. Okay, master secret computation. What is this master secret? Okay, so where did we come across this master secret? It is basically a session parameter, session state parameter. We had discussed about session state parameters and connection state parameters initially. So in that, when we started the SSL protocol, so in that we have what is called a session state parameter. So master secret is one of the session state parameter. Okay, so it is basically a 48 byte secret that is being shared between the client and the server. 48 byte secret shared between the client and the server. Okay, so the secret S, whatever is being sent in the first exchange, that is actually the pre-master key. Okay, so that is actually being shuffled with the two R's. That is, two R's means one is R Alice and one is R Bob. Okay, R Bob, in order to produce the master secret K. Okay, so that's what is mentioned here. Okay, so how this master secret is created, that is K is equal to F of, it's a function of S comma R Alice comma R Bob. Okay, so that's how the master secret is being computed. Okay, so the secret S, whatever is being sent in the first exchange, that is basically the pre-master secret. So that will be shuffled with the two R's, that is the random R Alice and R Bob, in order to produce the master secret. Okay, so for each connection, that is including the first one, so the master secret will be shuffled with two R's to produce the various keys. So totally, I think 6 keys are being used in that 4 messages for that particular connection. Okay, then regarding the cryptographic parameters, they're all generated by hashing the master secret. Okay, so these are the things: your client write MAC secret, server write key, server write key. I mean, all these are the parameters involved. So that is regarding the cryptographic computation. Okay, so generating the master secret computation, cryptographic computation. So now coming to the client authentication. Okay, so I told the client authenticates the server, but the server does not authenticate the client. This is I had already mentioned in that Alice Bob example. Okay, so and as of today, many a times when it's being deployed, it's unusual for the clients to have certificates also. Okay, but then, however, it is possible for that in your SSL protocol, SSL or TLS protocol, okay, for the server can request to the client to authenticate herself. Okay, that is for self authentication. Okay, so how this is being done is, okay, Bob will send a certificate request in the message. That is, Bob is a server. Server will send a certificate request. That is in message 2. Okay, so in the message 2, certificate request. See here, you can see here. Certificate request will be sent in message 2. Okay, so Alice, upon seeing that request, will send her certificate and her signature on a hash of handshake messages, proving that she knows the private key associated with the public key certificate. Okay, so that's how the authentication happens. Okay, the client sends the certificate and the signature on the hash, proving to know that the private key associated with the public key in the certificate. Okay, so now coming to the various aspects, how the public key infrastructure is being deployed by your SSL. PKI stands for public key infrastructure. Public key infrastructure. Public key infrastructure. Okay, so these days the clients come configured with public keys from various trusted organizations. Okay, and I mean, those are, when I say trusted organization, those are being trusted by the various browser vendors, but not necessarily by the user. Okay, so the user, whoever is there at the client machine, they can modify this list, and I can add or delete the keys. Okay, so the server will send a certificate to the client, and if it is signed by one of the certifying authorities on the client's list, okay, then the client will accept the certificate. Okay, if the server is presenting a certificate signed by someone which is not on the list, like something like a self-signed certificate, then the user is typically presented with a pop-up box informing him that the certificate cannot be verified because it was signed by a unauthorized authority. Okay, so that's these are the various things to be looked into. Okay, so another issue with the certificate request is the name of the certifying authority may not be a sufficient description. Since there might be several keys associated with the name, even possibly incorrectly associated with a particular name. Okay, so it is always good to have to send hashes of the public key. Okay, you can always send the hash of the public key. So in the most popular version of your SSL, that is SSL version 3, okay, so rather than sending a single certificate, you can send a chain of certificates. Okay, so the issues associated, all these issues can be dealt with. Okay, rather than sending one single certificate, you can send a chain of certificates, right? Okay, so that's regarding the what happened. Okay. Okay, so next regarding your cipher suits. Okay, cipher suits. What was your, do you remember our cipher specification? Cipher specification. Cipher suits. A suit of cipher specifications is what is called a cipher suit. Okay, so what is the cipher specification all about? Previously, we discussed about master key, a secret key which is being shared between the client and the server. What is the significance of that and how it is being computed and other things. So everything was explained with the Alice Bob communication example. Now coming to the cipher suits. So when you say cipher specification or cipher spec, that is how it is being mentioned in the attribute. Cipher SPEC. It stands for cipher specification. Okay, so here you have all your encryption algorithms and authentication algorithms. Okay, so this can either be a MAC algorithm or a hash algorithm. Okay, so cipher suit, when you say, it is nothing but a set of cryptographic algorithms. Set of cryptographic algorithms. So that's what you call it as a cipher suit. Okay, so to secure the transfer of data, your SSL and your TLS protocol will be making use of one or more cipher suits. Okay, so I just mentioned that cipher suit is actually a combination of authentication, your encryption algorithm, your MAC algorithms, that is message authentication algorithms, your integrity checksum algorithm, everything, whatever is required for your authentication, confidentiality, integrity, everything together as a suit. The set of cryptographic algorithm is what is called your cipher suit. And that's basically to secure the transfer of data. So SSL and TLS will make use of this cipher suits. Okay, so for example, for key exchange, it could be RSA or a Diffie-Hellman or ECDH or whatever. Or if it is an authentication, it could be some RSA technique or your DSA. If it is a cipher, it could be some AES or triple DES or RC4. Okay, so whatever. Okay, so cipher suit is a complete package. Okay, and cipher suits are predefined, and each is assigned a numeric value. Okay, and generally it will be three. These are some of the facts which are being presented. In SSL version 2, the value is 3 octet long, but in SSL version 3, it is and TLS, it's 2 octet. Okay, so there are around 30 defined cipher suits, and there are around 256 values reserved for private use. Okay, so that's regarding the cipher suits. Okay, so then another issue regarding it is you can define your own cipher suit and choose any number out of the 256 reserved numbers for describing it. But then the issue is there is no guarantee that somebody else will also choose the same number for their private suit. Okay, so if two such systems attempt to talk, then they'll think they are agreeing on the same suit. but in fact they will not be interoperating. So this is one of the issue. When you choose your own, or when you define your own cipher suite, what happens? Okay, the two people choosing the same number, right? Fine. So now the question comes regarding who makes the decision regarding the cipher suites. Okay, so it is different in the case of SSL version 2 and in the case of SSL version 3. Okay, so in SSL version 2, the client makes the final choice. Okay, final choice. Okay, so in SSL version 3, the server makes the choice. Okay, so that's what it is being told in the context of the example. So that Bob returns a subset of Alice's suggested cipher suites that he is willing to support, and Alice makes the final choice and announces it in the message 3. So that is, client is making the choice. Whereas in SSL version 3, Bob does make the choice from the list Alice has sent. If there are more than one that both he and Alice finds acceptable, then the server makes the decision. Okay, so that's regarding the cipher suite, who makes a decision. So an example of a cipher suite name, I said it's it's a set of cryptographic algorithms. Okay, so how it looks like. Okay, how it looks like. Okay, so all those cipher suites have 2 octet identifiers. They are referred to in the specification by names such as, this is a sample cipher specification name. So when you say SSL, it means SSL version 3. Okay, then RSA means, yeah, it is this algorithm. Then width means the names weren't long enough. DES40 means data encryption standard algorithm with 40-bit keys. CBC cipher specification chaining with CBC mode encryption. Anyway, this types of encryption, anyway, it's not coming as a part of a syllabus, so we have not discussed that. Then SHA means whatever is being used for your message authentication code. So that's what each means here. Okay, so this is an example for a cipher suite. Okay, so now the point what I'm trying to tell is, all these cipher suites, whatever we have discussed right now. So the cipher suites, to summarize, what I want to tell you is, it's actually just one of the method of security that the organization should employ. Okay, so companies actually also need to make sure that they defend the SSL or your TLS certificates against some digital attackers. Okay, so to accomplish that level of protection, so the organization actually should consider investing in some sort of integrated solution that will help them to automatically discover all their encryption keys, their certificates. Okay, they are able to monitor all those assets which is showing some assets, in the sense the digital assets, whatever is being showing some signs of misuse. Okay, or they should be able to revoke a compromised asset or renew the certificate before their expiration period arrives. Okay, so only then you can call it as a total protection. Total protection, and they are able to defend the SSL or TLS certificate against your digital attackers. Okay, so that's regarding the cipher suites. Okay, then now coming to, so today what we have discussed is, we discussed once again the basic SSL TLS protocol. Then I told you regarding the cryptographic computations. Then the client cryptographic computation is all about master secret creation. Then we discussed about client authentication. Okay, then the various aspects of public key infrastructure deployed by your SSL. Then about your cipher suites, which are nothing but a set of cryptographic algorithms which comes as a complete package. Then what are the issues when you try to define your own cipher suites? Okay, so two different people having their own private suite, it can so happen that they choose the same number. Okay, so then who makes the decision in version 2 and version 3, who makes the decision regarding the cipher suites? Then a sample cipher suite name. Okay, so then Now coming to the attacks. Okay, so what are the attacks that happens in your SSL version 3? Okay, so one of the attacks, that most popular attack which happens in SSL version 3 is what is called the downgrade attack. Okay, so downgrade attack. Okay, so let me first tell you what this downgrade attack is all about. Okay, so any idea what this downgrade attack is all about? From the name itself, we can make out downgrading. What does downgrade attack is all about? Anyone? Are people, all of you sleeping? Amen? What is downgrading? Can someone tell what is downgrading all about? Whole class is sleeping. Yeah? I can see a strength of 49 students here. Can somebody tell me what is downgrading? So when you say downgrading attack, when it happens to your TLS protocol, it's all about you're trying to deceive or trick the client and the server to use an older version of the protocol or some insecure parameters for your TLS connections. Okay, so what happens is the adversary or the person who's trying to create the issue, what they want to do is they will try to exploit the known or whatever unknown flaws are there in the older versions of the protocol or in the weak cryptographic algorithms. That is what is being targeted. Okay, so all these versions, as you progress, as you come from version 1 to version 2 definitely will be an improvised version of version 1, and version 3 will always be a improvised version of version 3. So all those things are there. So always you're trying. So what this downgrade attack tries to do is you're trying to exploit the unknown flows or non-flows in the older protocol versions or in the weak cryptographic algorithms. Okay, the flaws, whatever was there in the older protocol versions, that you are trying to exploit, and you are tricking the client and the server to use, though you have a newer version of the protocol, you're trying to make them forcibly use the older version which has some issues. Okay, so actually the person who's doing this downgrading attack, so an ordinary and average person will not be able to implement such an attack. Okay, so it will always be a person, you can call him as a powerful type of adversary, the person who's actually performing this downgrade attack by acting as a man in the middle. This adversary, they'll be able to, person performing the downgrading attack, they'll be able to intercept and modify the network traffic. Okay, and all these things happen, and that type of attack is what is called the man in the middle attack. Okay, so and that's why and ordinary people will not be able to implement such an attack. Okay, so there are actually very good examples of downgrade attack. Examples of downgrade attack is, one is called your poodle, the name of a dog, poodle. Another one is what is called a freak. Okay, and another one is what is called a log jam. Okay, log jam. So these are the different types of downgrade attacks, the most popular examples of downgrade attacks. Okay, so actually poodle is, though it is the name of the dog, it is actually padding oracle on downgraded legacy encryption. That's what a poodle is all about. Okay, so now when I take attendance, I want 3 people to look into what this poodle, what this freak, and what this log jam is all about, and share some information in the class. Okay, so who will do that? Who can do that? Manthan? Manthan Shah is there? So today attendance will be based on your cooperativeness. So is Manthan there in class?
Yes, ma'am.
So find out about Poodle. Okay, Poodle downgrading attack. So once I finish taking the attendance, share the information in the class. Look into the Google, get some information and share what this Poodle is all about. Got it?
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Then Mihika. Mihika is there?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you find out about Freak, Mihika? Freak. F-R-E-A-K.
Okay, ma'am.
Freak downgrading attack. Okay. Then who else? Who else is there? Let me come down. From our A section. Who's there from A section? A section. Let me open the book and check and tell who's there from A section. Uh, 46 is there. Shruti Kaushik. Shruti?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So Shruti, can you find out about log jam?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So these are the three types of downgrading attacks which happen in transport layer protocol, TLS, SSL TLS family. Okay. So find out what it is and in simple words, share it in the class. Right? Okay. So now let me take the attendance. Okay, Shruti.
Yes, ma'am.
Ryan. Ryan is there. Okay, noted, Ryan. Fine. Dipanshu Kumar. Dipanshu is absent. Dipanshu absent. Vishal, 27.
Present, ma'am. Present.
Yeah. 27. 37. Nitish Venkatesh.
Present, ma'am.
Shruti Kaushik, 46.
Yes, ma'am.
Darshini.
Present,
103. Okay. Fatima.
Present, ma'am.
Sai Satish.
Present, ma'am.
Santosh. Santosh. He was there for second hour. What happened now? He's vanished. 32, 133. Jeevesh.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Nityashri, 144. 144. Okay, noted. Ayushi.
Present, ma'am.
Rason.
Present, ma'am.
Sarthak.
Present, ma'am.
Pranay.
Present, ma'am.
Rishon.
Present, ma'am.
Anshuman.
Present, ma'am.
Rajanish.
Present, ma'am.
Vedika.
Present, ma'am.
Dipanshu present. 26. Where were you when I called out Dipanshu?
Yes, ma'am. I got network issue.
45.
Present, ma'am.
Okay. Aman, 47. 47. Aman is there? No. Aman, no response. Shaktiya, 51.
Ma'am, 47 present, ma'am.
47 is present. Okay.
Yes,
Shaktiya,
ma'am.
51. 51. Okay, noted. Vaishak. Vaishak Nair, no response. Amrita,
Present, ma'am.
Present, ma'am.
who's this Vaishak? Huh?
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Fine. Noted. Malavika,
Present, ma'am.
Megha Sinha,
Present, ma'am.
Nikita Das,
Present, ma'am.
Sai Gopal,
Present, ma'am.
Shreya Pradeep,
Present, ma'am.
Gayatri. Okay, noted. Ila,
Present, ma'am.
Ma'am, Akashdeep, 89.
89. 89 noted. Akash Deep. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Present.
Fine. 90 Ila is also noted. Sarangaraja,
Present, ma'am. Present, ma'am.
Jitendra Saini,
Present, ma'am.
Rajgopalan. Okay, noted. Fine. Binoy,
Present, ma'am.
Nimal Kumar.
Nimal Kumar, present, ma'am.
Okay, Karthikeyan, Karthikeyan 123. Karthikeyan B, no response. Ashwini.
Present, ma'am.
126. 123 is absent, right? Arjun 142.
140 present, ma'am.
Okay. Akash Kumar Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Venkat.
Present, ma'am.
Mitra Lakshmi.
Present, ma'am.
Aparna.
Present, ma'am.
Akansha Singh.
Present, ma'am.
Mihika Mishra.
Present, ma'am.
Vignesh.
Present, ma'am.
Swastik Johari. Okay, noted. Jagadeep 246 is absent. Karthikeyan 263. 246, 263 all are absent. 267 Abdul Ahad.
Present, ma'am.
Jashwant Parashar. Jashwant is also absent. So any board who has not got the attendance, not responded. Right. Okay, so let's come back. Okay. So have you found out about Poodle?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You want to share the screen?
Ma'am, can I just talk about it?
Fine. Okay, I want all
Ma'am,
of you to
so
listen.
Poodle, the full form is Parding Oracle on Downgraded Legacy Encryption. So it basically has an exploit in the SSL version 3. What basically it does is it eavesdrops on an encrypted communication. So it can steal like passwords and session cookies, which makes the user vulnerable, and it can, like, the attacker can impersonate the user.
Okay.
And that's all I could find on Google.
What's happening? My keys are getting pressed. Can you find out how it happens? Mode of operation? Can you do a little bit of research into how this Poodle, the operation of Poodle? Mantan?
Ma'am, I'll look into it.
Yeah. So by the time, let us hear from the other person, a Freak. Oh, what about Freak?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell me, Mihika, what is Freak all about?
Ma'am, so a protocol, it's a protocol downgrade attack that tricks a web server into negotiating connection with previous versions of TLS. The encryption downgrade attack can force the server and the client to negotiate a connection using cryptographical weak keys. A man in a middle attack is called Free, which was discovered affecting the open SSL stack or the default Android web server and some Safari browser. And this attack involved tricking the servers into negotiating a TLS connection using a cryptographical weak encryption keys. That's all.
So Freak is all about man in the middle attack. Yeah, this downgrading is as such a man in the middle attack. Okay.
Yes,
so what about Logjam?
Yes, ma'am. Logjam is basically a vulnerability that has been found in most common communication encryptions like TCL, Transport Layer Security, IPSC, and Secure Shell. It helps a man-in-the-middle attacker to downgrade the security connection to a 512-bit export grade cryptography, which can be used to see and edit a data that is supposed to be a securely encrypted data.
Can you just repeat one second? I couldn't listen. That what is Logjam all about? Can you please repeat? Because I had an interruption in between.
Found to affect the most common communication encryption services like transport layer security, IPSC, and secure shell. It helps man-in-the-middle attacker to downgrade the secure connection to a 512-bit export-grade cryptography, which can be used to view and edit data that is supposed to be securely encrypted.
Okay, fine. Right, so these are all the examples of downgrading attack. Okay, so actually, I mean, Mihika had told about the operation, the freak. So, fine. So like these days, all the modern transport layer, security protocol clients and servers. So they have started supporting their older protocol versions and even the weak cryptographic algorithms. So that is just to ensure the compatibility with your older clients and servers, and to reduce the severity of your downgrading attack. Okay, so another thing is, these days, the recent your TLS implementations and all, what they do is they will just disable the insecure protocol versions and algorithms. Okay, but then disabling insecure protocols and algorithms versions, it can be costly also due to some compatibility issues and other things. So it can be costly also. Okay, so how this SSL version 2 and SSL version 3 takes care of your downgrading attack. That's what is mentioned here. SSL version 2 and SSL version 3. Okay, so actually in SSL version 2, there is no integrity protection for initial handshake. Okay, so an active attacker can remove the cipher suite with strong encryption from the list of requested cipher suites, and it can force the communicating parties, that is both the client and the server, here Alice and Bob, to agree upon a weaker cipher. Okay, so you can easily trick and trail in SSL version 2. That was one of the disadvantages or the weakness, flaw in SSL version 2. Okay, but then in SSL version 3, so actually it does two things to prevent your downgrading attack. Okay, so it will first require both the client and the server to send a finished message. You can see here, it's mentioned here, finished message. Finished message which contains a MAC over all the previous handshake messages. Okay, so that both the client and the server can ensure that the negotiated parameters have not been modified in the middle by a man in the middle or by an attacker. Okay, so that's what. So that is like when we had discussed the parameters in the various phases, we would have seen something called certificate and certificate verified. Okay, so that will be included. That is authentication. That will be included only if it is present. Okay, so that finished key, that final key, that finished key. I hope you remember these parameters. If you go back a few slides, you will see that one is certificate, certificate request, then certificate verify. Certificate verify, and the last is finished key. That is the last message, finished key. Okay, so that finished key will be derived from one of the handshaking secrets. Okay, so in phase 1, when we discussed it, if you remember, we had a server hello message. Server hello, and that's how the client hello and server hello. Okay, so in version 3, actually, this downgrade protection mechanism is embedded in the server hello message as a nonce value, as a random nonce value in the server hello message. Do you remember the server hello message and its various parameters? Nobody remembers. Where? This one. server. See the client hello and the server hello. So the server hello will also have some parameters. So you can see here the server, this is what? This random. This random is a nonce value. Okay, so for SSL version 3, okay, so this downgrade protection mechanism will be embedded in the server's nonce value. Okay, so so it is able to negotiate with the older versions also. Okay, so okay, so in SSL version 3, it was fixed by, this issue was fixed by adding a finished message to the end of the initial handshake, in which each side sends a digest of the message in the handshake. Okay, so that's regarding the downgrading attacks. Okay, so I told you what the downgrading attack is all about. Okay, so downgrading attack is all about tricking the client and the server to use an older version of the protocol or some insecure parameters of the TLS connection. Okay, so basically the adversary will be trying to exploit the flaws, whatever was there in the older protocol versions or in the weak cryptographic algorithm. Okay, so it's basically a man in the middle attack. Okay, they'll try to intercept and modify the network traffic. Okay, and I mean, it's something which cannot be done by a average person. Okay, then we also, I mean, 3 people discussed about well-known examples of downgrading attacks. We have Poodle, we have Freak, and we have Logjam. Okay, so these days, I mean, older protocol versions, and they're also being supported to ensure backward compatibility. Okay, so then even you can disable the insecure protocol versions and algorithm. That's another way to mitigate the severity of the downgrading attack. But then that could be a costly option because of the compatibility issues. Okay, so then how downgrading attacks are being taken care. And then in SSL version 2, it's difficult. In SSL version 3, I mean, it requires both the client and the server to send a finished message, which will have a MAC over all the previous handshake messages. Okay, so you're ensuring that nothing is being modified in the middle. Okay, so that's what it is all about. Okay, so remaining we'll discuss in the next class. Hope you are listening to it. So I'm stopping for the day.